This is from Jagged Subversive, who says, how do I sell this thing? All right. I've developed a tool. It's a prototype, but totally functional, that I've gotten tired of working and I'm ready for the next project. I've never sold any of my stuff before. I do not have a business name or anything like that. Everywhere I turn, it seems everybody wants to buy a business and not a tool from a solo developer. I really thought finding a platform to sell it on would be a lot simpler. I'm not much of a marketing guy. Any advice on the matter? Should I find company contacts and cold call them? What do you think? All right. So you got you got a client that comes to you and says, I just developed the software. Who cares what it is? I developed some software.
Okay.
What do I do?
It depends on who you're targeting with it. Like, what is the software? Is it
Well, he's saying he wants to find some company contacts and so let's say it's business tools. It's a business software.
Okay. So first of all, you figure out what problem are you solving? What problem does your tool solve? That is 1, 2, and 3. Once you know what problem it solves, right? Then it's a matter of who has that problem.
Yep.
I'll give you a perfect example of a software company that did this really well, called Go High Level. So they developed a CRM tool and a marketing tool. Basically, it does email marketing, text message marketing. It's a good CRM system, right? Yep. Every CRM system that targets small business owner has the same problem. How do we get the business owner to implement this?
Yeah, right.
So their approach to selling their software was brilliant. Rather than going directly to the small business owners, they went out and contacted companies that were in marketing or lead generation and said, hey, by the way, we're going to give you this tool for $400 a month or $200 a month, whatever it was. And you will be allowed to create as many sub-accounts under there for your clients as you want to.
Okay.
So now me as a marketing company no longer have to convince my client to set up a CRM and pay monthly for that. I can tell them, listen, I'm going to give you the CRM. We're going to set it up for you, because the beauty of it is once I've set up a template for a landscaper, I can copy that template and paste it into a different landscaper. And then all I'm doing is modify, right? So like, I don't have to set up the CRM from scratch every single time. And then I tell my client, listen, you're only going to pay for the usage, right? So you're going to pay $10 a month for 10,000 emails, or you're going to pay $100 a month, whatever it is, for 1,000 text messages.
Right.
But there's no cost with the CRM, and I'm going to manage it for you, but you'll have access to do everything you need to. I'll train you on how to use it. End of story. Really simple, right? If my client ever decides to leave, I can just tell them, perfect, I'm going to charge you $79 a month or $80 a month, whatever, to keep the CRM system, because it's still tied to my sub account.
Yeah.
So there was a company that developed a software that already existed. They knew the problem wasn't the CRM. The problem was getting someone to implement it, and they found a way to solve that problem.
That's cool.
That's really what the same process with this is. Whatever your tool is, whatever problem it solves, you got to figure out the exact problem and then who has that problem. And then that is who you contact to say, hey, I know you probably have this problem. Here's what the symptoms of this problem looks like. And here's your medicine, right? I always use the analogy of like your body, right? Has your hand ever gone numb?
Sure.
Okay. Is that a hand problem?
Not usually, no.
No, it's normally a circulation problem or a spinal
Starts
problem.
Up the arm somewhere usually.
Correct, right? But so you don't really know. You just feel the symptom.
Yeah.
Right? So you may not know what the problem is. And that is true with almost any marketing, is people know their symptoms. They don't know what the problem is. So if you can point out the symptoms to someone that says, let's say, if you have a high turnover rate in your business, that's a symptom, not a problem, right? Because the symptom is your office is like a revolving door.
Yeah.
The problem isn't the revolving door, right?
Right.
Like that the symptom of the revolving door is a problem somewhere else, right? That could be a culture problem. It could be that you have a pay problem. Like the problem is elsewhere, but you're experiencing the symptom from it. And it is amazing to me, first of all, how many business owners don't connect the symptoms to the problems. And secondly, how many people try to sell you the solution to a problem that they don't understand they have.
Yeah. And being in the software world, or having been in the software world, I can totally understand where he's coming from. How do you get it out there? How do you sell that first prototype, or get not sell, but get the prototype in front of people? And it is a challenge if you don't know what you're doing in marketing, the marketing world, right? Do you see any at this point, right from the very beginning? Do you see advertising being necessary?
No.
Right.
Not until you've figured out what problem you solve and who you solve it for. Once you get there, right? Because let's say this is a what would be a business problem you could solve? Let's say this is a software that tracks that your employees are where they're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you have an office building or a software development company, is that really a problem for you?
Right. Yeah.
Right? It's not. Right. Well, what if you own a trucking company?
Yeah.
Now it's a big problem, right? What if you own an HVAC company and you have guys on the road? What if you're a landscaper? So like, it depends on what problem you're solving, right? But let's say he was solving a problem for the office world. Where does the office world hang out? Online, LinkedIn. So that's where you would start promoting something that solves a problem for the office world. Where are the landscapers and the truckers and the HVAC guys? They're probably more likely to be on Facebook or TikTok or one of those platforms, right? Well, that means you would then advertise on that platform instead, because you're more likely to find your audience there. So it really comes down to, with anything, I don't care whether it's this software, whatever it is you do, what problem do you solve? Who do you solve it for? How do I market to them? And that's the fundamentals of growing any business.
And what about trying to find one or two businesses to work with to make sure that the software is doing what it's supposed to, and just to get the name out there, like, installing it and helping them use it for free for a little while.
But even still, it's still the same problem, right? It's still, what problem are you solving? Who are you solving it for?
Sure.
But even if you have to find that right person to even prototype it or to beta test it for you. But if you don't know what problem you're solving and who you're solving it for, you can't even find a good beta tester.
Yeah.
Like if I did personnel tracking software, I could do it in this building you're in, right? Because they have guys that go on the road and do repair of things on the road. Yep. So like I would know, I could simply walk over, in the same building, 2 offices down, and ask the guys, hey, do you ever wonder if your guys are actually on a work site? Right? Like,
true. No, you're absolutely right. Question. Yeah, you're right.
And if someone says, well, we have this one guy that, I'm like, okay, I have a software that will allow you to kind of see where he is and how much time he spends. And like, I remember back in sales, every once in a while, I never understood why. My boss would come in and be like, so what places did you visit today? Right? And I would have to give him a list of all the places I visited and like look at it on a map. And then he would say, okay, why is there an extra 40 miles on your car, on your driver's report based on where you went? Because when I add up all these places, you should have only driven 60 miles today, right? But you drove 100, right? So where's the other 40 miles? And like, people may feel like it's attacking you, but it's a legit question for the business owner. Like putting an additional 40 miles on a car that they own is significant, right? And I mean, normally the answer was
a lot of time too.
Yeah, but normally the answer was pretty simple, right? Like I stopped here, they weren't there. They told me they would be back at 11, so I drove back and they still weren't there. So I went and did the rest of it and had to drive back. And yes, I lost some time because of that, but that normally would explain the additional mileage, right? The guy that was working with me, so we had 2 sales guys at the time. I was one and another guy. He would ask that other guy the same question and he goes, normally his time wouldn't add up, right? Because he was like, why did you only visit 8 places today while he visited 16 or 14? Like, and you drove shorter, only to find out that the vast majority of places that he supposedly visit were right next to his house.
Oh, geez.
right? What do you think he was really doing?
Yeah, right.
Right? Found out he went home and
Yeah.
took a nap and
Right,
did some
right.
stuff. So like legit problems. Is everybody in your business going to be a problem? No, but like even beyond that, like for liability purposes, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I didn't realize until a few years ago, like if you send a moving truck on the road that's over a certain size, that you have to file the exact route they're going to be driving.
Yep.
I was like, what? I'm like,
Yeah.
so if the driver gets hungry and decides to swing out of the way to go grab food at his favorite lunch place, that could be an issue. Right?
Once those trucks get over a certain size, there's certain roads you're not allowed to go on.
Mhm.
And sometimes those roads aren't marked properly. I had a friend that used to own a tractor trailer, and he was independent, and he would get loads, drive to
Yeah.
Walmart or whatever. And he said, Mike, I'd taken this road every 3 weeks for 15 years. And they suddenly changed the rule on that road one day. There were no signs up, and he got a $20,000 ticket.
Yeah.
For hauling a load on that road, where every year for like 15 years it was fine, or every day for 15 years it was fine.
And they put one little maximum
Yeah,
load sign
right.
somewhere behind a tree.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But so yeah, once again, back to his.
Yep.
What problem are you solving?
So that's a good question. Jagged, subversive. What problem are you solving?
And then there's the other thing. Is it a short-term problem or a long-term problem?
Yeah.
Right? Is it a one-time fix or is it an ongoing problem?
Yeah.
Because like there's things that you use once. There's things you use multiple times. I have software that we use once a month. I have software we use daily. Right? Like, so yeah, there's just there's more questions than I can give answers.
No, absolutely. But I think we at least put them in a good starting position of where, what to do without having full knowledge of the software. Again, it seems like it's business software because of the companies they want to contact. Yeah. But so Jagged, subversive, good luck to you on that. Hopefully we give you some ideas. If you like what you saw in the clips, don't forget to subscribe as well. Let us know what you think by leaving some information in the comments.